We'll talk some MMA and UFC 154 from, of course, this past weekend. He is the host of Ringside Report Radio Wednesdays and Fridays right here on TSN 690. You can also check out the website at www.ringsidereport.net. He likes to leave out the dot for some reason. You can follow him on twitter.com/DaveSimonMMA. It is Dave Simon.
Well, people know after the 3 W's, there's a dot. If you don't know
why do you need the 3 W's then?
To let you know that it's a website. When I say that, because you lead it up, right? You say www, so everybody knows, oh, he's about to say a website. And then you say ringsidereport.net, so you can write it down or you can pay attention, and then you're going to ringsidereport.net. But if I have to tell you that there's a dot after the 3 W's, I don't want you going on the internet. You need to stay home and figure out how the world works, all right?
You know, as a guy who makes his living in the copywriting /PR, communications, content, that kind of thing, it just irks me when there's no... You say it all the time in your promos, when you're on air, www.ringsidereport.net.
Yeah.
Get that dot in there.
No. It's unnecessary. And if you think it's necessary...
Speaking of unnecessary, let's talk some MMA with Dave Simon here on the show.
What's unnecessary about that?
Big, obviously, event this past weekend. Dave, was it officially...
Not going to answer that one? You're just going to let it slide? You're just going to keep going?
Was it officially a sellout?
Okay. No. Not quite. I think it was just under. I think
is that a disappointment? Or somebody was saying
just
that
over
ticket prices...
17,000 tickets sold. But, they made, I think, $3.5 million in a gate. And somebody asked Dana White, are you disappointed? 17,000. It wasn't 22. He said, no, we make $3.5 million on the gate. We're never disappointed. So they made their money, and I think maybe some of the tickets were more expensive than they normally were, and maybe that's one of the reasons why not all the tickets were sold out. But I'll tell you, it was packed. If it wasn't sold out, I don't know where those tickets were that went unsold, because I saw people there. It was a packed and loud Bell Center on Saturday.
All right, so we know, obviously, what the main event was. Let's get to that momentarily. But leading up to the main event, Dave, you had a whole bunch of other guys on that card. Now, I actually caught a bit of the prelims on television, Dave. I know you might be surprised to find that out, but...
Yes, I am.
I actually caught the waning moments of the Cote fight.
Oh, yeah. What
a fight to catch, by the way. I've never seen more than a few seconds of MMA action, and bang, I switch over and I see Cote getting... the back of his head bashed in.
Yeah, that was a debacle.
What was the referee doing while this guy's getting blows to the back of the head?
I don't know. Referee Dan Miragliotta, who's
should be suspended
the
or
third
something.
man in the cage, usually does a really good job. I don't know what he was doing. He said he warned Sakara, Alessio Sakara, saying that he was never warned. His management even saying that those shots weren't to the back of the head, that those shots were legal. I don't know what they were thinking there as far as his management, but... yeah, that was horrible. That was horrible, horrible stuff. He hit him with about 8, maybe 9 shots directly in the back of the head, and the referee never stepped in to stop it. And when he stepped in, it looked like he was stepping in to say, yeah, this fight's over. Cote has lost. And the crowd went crazy, and there was a lot of confusion. And at one point, Miragliotta went into the cage, and it seemed like he was going to decide that Sakara had won by TKO, but he looked up at the big screen and saw the replay of how many shots there were and shots to the back of the head. He exited the cage. He went to talk to the guy who handles the regulatory affairs for the UFC, Mark Ratner, who used to head up the Nevada State Athletic Commission. He spoke to him and to the head of the commission here in Montreal, Michel Hamelin, and then there seemed to be some sort of discussion between those 3 men, and the decision was then, I don't know if it was changed at that point, but there seemed to be a lot of discussion from the time that fight was ended to the time Bruce Buffer walked into the cage and said that Patrick Cote had won via disqualification.
Now,
and
does the referee
it was kind of
normally do that? I mean, isn't it whatever the referee says, that's the decision? It doesn't normally get influenced by people outside the ring.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was very strange. There's no instant replay rule in Quebec as far as mixed martial arts. So looking out at a replay and then making your decision from that is not legal. So it was definitely strange. It was...
Is it a case where the guy could have appealed?
Yes, they are appealing. they're appealing the decision, and even Dana White saying at the post-fight press conference that it shouldn't have been a disqualification. It should have been a no contest. Cote, was unable to continue, but Sakara maybe was not warned sufficient amount of time, so it should have been a no contest. Dana White says he wants to see Sakara and Cote fight again, so that's a possibility that this fight does get solved one way or the other, but it really was a problem where the referee did not step in, where the referee was not decisive enough.
Not protecting the fighter.
Yeah, not protecting the fighter and not being confident enough and not being quick enough in the moment to stop the fight. He should have, after 2 or 3 shots, he should have stopped it. But he allowed 4 or 5 to go on. He should have stopped it. I mean, couple shots, you warn Sakara. He hits 2 more, you separate the men, you tell Sakara that you're going to deduct a point from him, you do so, and you continue the fight. But what Dan Miragliotta did was just let him throw those shots. He said he warned him, but so what you warned him? He still kept doing it, and then the fight had to be stopped. So it was poor officiating from Dan Miragliotta, who, I don't want to come down too hard on this guy because I think normally he's one of the best in the game. He just had an off night.
So who hears that appeal?
It would be the commission here. It would be the Quebec Commission, the Régie des courses et des jeux, Alcool courses et des jeux. It's all encompassing.
Now, for his part, Cote got interviewed by Joe Rogan in the ring afterwards, and I found it kind of curious. He's answering all the questions fine, but he's in Montreal. He's a Quebecer. You figure he'd throw a quick French line or something to the crowd. He didn't say, the whole interview was in English. He said nothing in French to the crowd. I just thought it was strange.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising. In fact, in Brazil, at one point a fighter won and he was doing his post-fight with Joe Rogan and he started speaking English, but he was a Brazilian fighter and they wanted him to speak Portuguese, so they just started booing him until he stopped speaking English. In Brazil, they're hardcore. Here in Quebec, I don't know. I actually couldn't hear Cote, so I don't think the crowd could actually hear him because they were cheering so loudly, you couldn't really hear what the guy was saying. So I think to say anything in French wouldn't have really made a difference. They were going to get, they were as loud as they were going to get. It was deafening in there after that Cote fight.
Now give Sakara credit for his words to the crowd as well, apologizing, saying he's not a dirty fighter.
Yeah, it was an honorable thing for him to do.
And they gave him a nice round for that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's an honorable sport, and when you come in and you show honor and you show respect, you're going to get respect back from the audience. And I don't think he's a dirty fighter. It was just heat of the moment. Sometimes these things happen.